Top to morning, ladies. My name is Fez, and welcome to the What If Zuko Had Creation of Monsters. I know it says, what if Deku creates the Power Ranger monsters, but that's okay. So, sorry if I'm yelling. I needed to get the intro out real quick. So, yeah. So, Zuko, in this timeline, has a power to, every time he touches something, it turns it into every time it's similar to Momo's, but instead of using stuff from his belly fatness, he can use items around the entire area as his own personal monsters. He can turn a small fire truck into a big, monsterish fire truck that smiles at you. Or he turns a normal small mirror into a monster too. Yeah. Zuko is pretty powerful. And I'm also throwing in Zumi, so yeah. She has fire manipulation. And Zuko's quirk is actually super regeneration. Basically allows him to, and he also has target. It's similar to but he can redirect attacks to anyone who dares. So let's begin. Zuko and Zumi were born, and when they hit age of 4, he went to a quirk doctor, and he looked at Zumi and says, Zumi, you have fire manipulation, but your brother has super regeneration and targeting. So basically, he can direct, attacks to any other target. So basically, same thing as mine, but he can live longer, right? Yes. As Inko's okay. What else? Well, that's basically, we ran it 4 times before to make sure. So they okay, but on there too, he has one power that, and none of you actually do have. As Inko says, okay, what is it? It's called monster creation. It's a power, not his quirk. It allows the user to make things turn into the monster versions. Okay. What does it mean? Do they protect him or what? Yes, it protects him and serves him. So yeah. So, and they gave themselves names. So yeah, Zuko been training his targeting with his sister to see if he can't, or if so. Plus, her or their father used their fire breath quirk, and Zuko uses it to bend the flames all the way around him, all the way back at or aimed right at the boulder that was right next to Asashi. So yeah, and one day when they went back and told him, or when Zuko told Bakugo that, you guessed right on one thing. As Bakugo looks at him, says, "What did I do?" Well, remember, or if I had a stronger quirk, but there's actually two quirks inside of me. Two different ones. Okay. What are they? Well, your like your power can target things, right? Yeah, like explosions. But it can also regenerate. As he turned around before her, as he sees a semi-truck ran like stoplight thing, as he touched the flower, or as Zuko, he literally went and pushed his sister out of the way as he gets hit. And when because his shocks, he basically, when he got hit, when he touches, accidentally touched a car, the car transformed into a monster truck, or basically transforms into a small version of this. And when he saw his master got hit as Zuko literally, or that creature grabs the semi-truck, flipped it over, and he's coughing out blood. As Zumi, he was like, "You're okay, just stay with us." As he tries to, so they ended up, that transformer thing picked up Zuko and drove or walked all the way to the hospital, dropped him off. And Zuko's is lost so much blood. So when when Zumi told her that about her brother, as Inko was ran to the hospital thing, and Zuko knew that, or Zuko did know that Zumi looked both ways, like before crossing thing, but that semi driver didn't stop. So, yeah, and that's what Zumi and Zuko said. As Zuko or Zumi or no, Inko was like, please don't die on me. I won't. Don't. As he coughs out more blood. So, yeah. Zuko, with his super regeneration, he tried to regenerate fast enough, but the truck driver decided to, instead of paying for like damages, both of Zuko's arms got crushed. So yeah. So then that mech creature walked over to that truck driver and like pulled him out of the semi truck, and man, he was beating the truck driver all the way in. Like, there was nothing left of him. So, yeah, as he picks up Zuko's arms and set him as the arms regrown back into Zuko's body. And he was full healed real quick. Like, no surgery, or no surgeries thing. So, yeah. So now the 15, Bakugo, was like, huh, well, how's your arms doing, Bawe? Well, they're pretty good. Man, thanks to that semi-driver. And the toy, he shrunk down to a action figure, went into his pocket. So that if something happens to him, he will take care of it. So yeah, Zuko and Bakugo in this timeline is way nicer than the canon one. Like, he cares about Zuko. So yeah. As moving on, so during the exam, like a robot one, Zuko, who took out 1-pointers, 2-pointers, 3-pointers, and he also used but when the 0-pointer came and Zuko saw Ochako, or actually Momo, in that situation, he decides to run up to that 0-pointer, and he placed his hand right on the 0-pointers, and this is what he transformed into. So yeah, he says, "I live to serve," as he transforms into a small toy and put it into his pocket. As he helps the Momo with that, and yeah. So yeah. Time progressed as I'm skipping the ball throw because he had to use 3 fingers, or like 4 fingers, to actually throw the ball. Because they noticed that if he touches it with 5 fingers, it turns into a terrible monster. So, yeah. So, Momo actually asked Zuko, or no, when they came back from, like, that testing, the hardening guy, the rock guy, the redhead, and him asked, "What is that all about, though? Like, if you use 5 fingers to create?" It's something to do with my power, not my quirk, but my power. As its powers are permanently bonded to a person's DNA. Not like quirks, but... So they're like, okay, so what is your quirks? Well, my quirk is super regeneration and targeting. Basically, I can use it on someone like Yako, the laser dude, that seat note 1, number 1. So I can manipulate his laser attack and bend it to my will and, like, target someone else. Ooh, that sounds cool, actually. As Denki says that. So basically you can redirect any attacks that would target, like, you or someone else to some other person or anything. Yes. As Zuko explained what his quirk does. Like, if someone used a fire quirk that shoots fire, I can redirect it to, like, someone else's. As, yeah, Momo walks up to Zumi and, like, wanted information about, like, her brother. Like, what does his favorite food and all that stuff. As Zumi says, well, he sure does like pizza, but he also likes ice cream and all that food stuff. But don't let his 5 fingers touch the object. If you're trying to give him pizza and he uses 5 fingers, it turns into Pizza Man. That's what he is. As they're like asking her, like all the girls asking him, or asking her what's so special about his power. Well, as she explains, he's just like same thing as you, Momo. But instead of using like your body thing, just imagine you touch an object with all 5 of your fingers, and it randomly turns into a monster that serves you. Oh. So Momo O says, okay. Eh? Well, that sounds like a great information about his power. And he picked up a pebble, Emma, or a rock with just 2 fingers, and puts it in his like pocket so that even he picked up a bolt too. So next day, or let's say, yeah, heroes versus villains. Him and Bakugo versus Kenya and Todoroki. So, yeah, Zuko was basically told Bakugo what their plans are. So, yeah, Bakugo, Zuko, Kenya, and Todoroki. Or, actually, instead of Tenya, it would have been the human Pikachu over there. Or, actually, Yankee. So, yeah. So Yankee was the laser one. So Zuko was like, okay, ready? I'll keep the bottom one distracted. And yeah, so Zuko was, but as Yankee accidentally like fried Zuko's arm, but Zuko had a backup as let's say instead of pebble it was a rock. So when he used his 3 fingers to pick it up, he can, because it was in the side that so he picked it up and threw it at him. Like, take this, goon, or take this, as he threw one of these guys. As he hits in them, as it was a goon. Everyone saw him, like, sheesh. How does he come up with these weapons? As, yeah, he basically, because the laser dude, aimed right at, accidentally aimed at the Zuku's chest, but it missed him, but he turns it to cut off his arm. So one of the goons picks it up, puts it back on as it regenerates. And then he touches him again, to becoming this. Yeah. And like, he used his power to literally force down and capture Yankee. And then he walked and he sees Bakugo frozen in ice, solid thing, as Zuko looks at Todoroki as he says, "Huh, did you do that? Yep, now it's your turn." As Zuko dodged like or Todoroki's attack, but he grabs the ice shard that Todoroki uses, rigs it off, and threw it right at him, and it transformed into her. Yeah. Basically, into an ice queen thing. And she starts attacking Todoroki. Like, everyone is shocked because they couldn't believe that Zuko can create monsters from left to right. And evolve them by just touching them. So, yeah. They ended up, All Might says that, and like, match over. Heroes wins. Zuko's team wins. Now, as yeah. So, because he touched a bomb before, and yeah. And so, yeah. Then before, after the, like, heroes versus villains, then the USJ thing happens, as Zuko wasn't expecting Momo to be sitting right next to him. And yeah. So yeah. Zuko was in his backpack, he had so many, like, gadgets and gizmos. Like, he literally carried around a Nerf gun and a small tank and like all that stuff. So yeah, when they arrived, as 13 has seen his powers before her, so she walks up to him and says, it's been a little while. How's your arm doing? Or how's your arms doing? Pretty good. And as Ochako couldn't believe that, as she asked Zuko, like, how did you know 13? As 13 says, well, he tried to save his sister from getting run over by a semi-driver. But because he didn't, semi-driver didn't want to pay the fine, so he ends up trying to kill Zuko, but ends up running his arms over. It was a pretty painful process, but some random creature just came out of like nowhere, takes the semi-drivers out of their vehicle and starts smacking them around. So yeah, Zuko, as they're like, oh boy. So yeah, they got in, they talked, and then the portal opens and villains came out, and Mr. Aizawa tells 13 to take the students out of here. As she says, okay, yeah, and Zuko says, this is crazy. So they tried to, but they ended up getting teleported instead. As I did not mean to exit out of it. So Zuko was basically got teleported to the water, but it takes a lot of energy to, like, he noticed that it takes a lot of energy to create the monsters. So yeah, he basically needed a recharge, but a villain came out of nowhere as Zuko is panicking as the toy robot, or not toy robot, the Ice Queen, the one that you saw before, her actually froze the water, and so she says, don't worry, my king, I'll make sure that these trespassers don't bother you. As she starts slicing all the villains up. As he sees the Nomu, as he starts running towards the Nomu, and he says, take this, you jerk. As when he used his 5 fingers thing, right at the same time, Nomu just whacked him, but it changed his, like, programming, into, and his body structure into that act. As he starts, as he had a nosebleed, a really bad one, as Zuko, or that creature, goes over and Sarah attacks him. He helps him up and dusts him off and wipes his own nose away, like, oh. As Shiraki-sen says, "Nomu, I told you to kill them." As that Nomu says, you aren't a boss of me. I'm no longer Nomu. I am the ultimate. I serve Zuko Midoriya. As they're shocked. They couldn't believe that Zuko came in and, like, tapped on the Nomu and, like, yeah. And he's coughing out blood too. So, yeah. As he's like, as he takes, or he tells Ice Princess to get Zuko out of here with his friends. And she agrees, as they took everybody out, and the Nomu went full on, like, straight up breaks Shiraki-sen's fingers so that he can't use his decay quirk, and killed most of the baddies, like the villains. As one of them actually had, like, nose things. Yeah. So he ends up getting well protected as he starts walking, or instead of getting up, he felt lightheaded, so from all that blood running down, as to make him stop bleeding, Ice Queen uses her, or actually Ice Girl, I forget her name. I keep calling her the Ice Queen, so breathes his nostrils like blood things, and as he got knocked out before. As they ran him to the hospital to get, like, healed by Recovery Girl. As the Nomu flew in to check on Zuko, as they all went back into his backpack, as they're like, my goodness, now I've seen everything, Nezu says. So Zuko is, as Zumi, he was, like, grabbing her, like, skirt thing, and she says, I can't believe I should have been a bigger sister, and as she's tearing up because her brother might not make it through the, because his skin was all white and pale. So, yeah. And All Might walks in and he gave her some comfort. Like, your brother would felt the same way. But he only in his blood, he needs a blood thing. So they used, like, to fill his blood back up. As, yeah. He recovered from that from 1 week, or 2 weeks. Right before the sports festival. As Eraserhead, as they're like trying to tell them that Zuko will be alright. As they hear the familiar voice, says, "Ready, guys?" Yeah. He already got dressed faster than, as they're like, "How's that thing?" Well, then none of the, I don't want any knockouts, okay? And Zuko, it was hyper regeneration quirk, can prepare his, like, it slowly, like, fills up his blood, but back to a way that he was. But he sure did take only 2 weeks to recover. As he says, come on. As he starts, and as Midnight says, has to Zuko that, or asked him, "How are you feeling? Do you feel like running or doing this sports festival?" As he says, "Yeah." And Zuko, who, like, heck yeah, I don't want to miss it. Big opportunity for us students to show our true stuff. Huh? Oh. I don't want to miss it for a world. And Zuko ends up, like, first round is, or actually, I'm skipping all the way. I'm skipping the camp arc. And so, the to One for All, or no, All Might versus All for One. Zuko, they're like, okay, as he needs someone like long range. So he pulls out the Nerf blaster guy. So he used 5 fingers, and do you see that guy that has a black helmet? Yep. Shoot him right in the head, or till his mask comes off. Okay. And he shot All for One before her. As Zuko came in, as he says, your friend. You think that. And As All For One says, huh, if I don't, I will use it on you instead. But you might end up reflecting it back to me. And he ends up making or he grabs Toga's knife. That's only for long range attacks. Let's see what will happen if I do it close range. As his arm turns into a blade, and right before Zuko gets stabbed, he pulled out his Knight card. So he pulls out him and he used his blade to reflect the attack. As he says, huh, you were trying to hurt my master, our master. As he used the blade, as he says, you have the 1,000 quirks in one body. But he actually had, when he was walking around, and a snake girl came, or actually a snake came around before he bit him, Zuko grabs him, or grabs that snake, and with all 5 fingers touching it, it turned into her. And then of course, she ends up obeying him. And, yeah. So he releases all of the, everybody, or all those, he created. And they all start attacking All For One. Ripping him to shreds and doing everything in their powers. So, and plus some of them used as defense. And to protect Zuko. So, yeah. So Zuko was basically indestructible. And right before All For One says, huh, now die, as he used a long range attack, and he got teleported right behind, or far away, as they hear this beep beep, and it was a fire truck. Zuko's first monster that he created. So, yeah. He literally hits the All For One, and he wasn't just by himself. He had him riding it. Yeah, so they start running his butt over, and yeah, things got crazy. So after that, I'm skipping the overhaul fight. And yeah, and they do, or actually, after the All For One fight thing, Momo walks over to Zuko and kissed him right on the lips. And as he's embarrassed, having some or a classmate, like, he told him that, and if she chose anybody to go get dating and then marriage, was actually she chose Zuko. So yeah, because she actually tells him that he's smart, he knows what he's doing, and everything else. So yeah. So yeah. And during the internship thing, the flying Nomu looking thing, when Zuko touched him, he ends up getting the same treatment as like what he did. But he grew like 3 new eyes. And his like brain got covered. So, and this is what he looks like. So Zuko was that. Or that Nomu was that. So yeah. So he tries to, like, he's trying to, like, because they don't know how to operate, so they used, or actually the paintbrush, kitty cat looking thing, actually told him that if he, they ended up summoning him out, and he starts drawing a picture of a cute portrait. So cute that it's so perfect that even everybody was a little bit surprised. So yeah. And in this what if, the hero killer Stain got upper handed by Zuko's as goon. By these guys. And got put in jail. So yeah. Now Zuko, as I know I said I will skip the overhaul fight, but just for until the monster fight. So yeah. So Zuko had, like, his chest pains got worse, but it didn't affect him. So he created he had a fake heart thing. So he pulls it out and, like, it transforms into a monster and attacks with, like, everybody, or he like, all those monsters went and attacked Overhaul, and Zuko's feeling tired out, as the only monster that knows that Zuko is trying to stay awake was him. So he says, let us handle it, okay? Just have some shut-eye, okay? Okay. And this car, or they literally put him on it, and he starts sleeping right on there. Yeah. So, yeah, Zuko was basically sleeping through the most of it. And now into the future, Momo got married to Zuko and had 4 kids. And the bolts that I said that he collected over years, actually he used 5 fingers, and they all took care of the kids, the goons, and they were pro heroes. So yeah. So now this is the end of the video. Please leave a like, share, subscribe. I might do the what if Zuko was as the only overpowered character. Or do you want me to do the what is eyeball was in the Power Rangers, or leave them in the comments below, please, and thank you. So, peace.